boy, we've got a hot topic today. Joining with me is Tony Hefsend, and we're going to talk about specifically combining cores and the core progression system. A lot of people have been talking on Reddit, and this is by Neat Games, talking about cores and specialization. We both are in agreement on this. It feels bad, right?
It feels real bad. It somehow feels, as we were saying, it somehow feels worse than the specialization tree. The failure rate that you have there, it outs that by a great margin.
Okay, so I did some math, and I explained the math a minute ago. Did my math make sense to you? It's
Yep.
okay. So let's just explain the system in general. When you have 3 1-stars, you can craft 3 1-stars into a 2-star, and it has a 100% success rate. So basically, in the process of crafting a 1-star, a 2-star, you lose 3 1-stars. 3 1-stars disappear forever, right?
Yes.
And then the crafting rate progresses, to the next level. To go to a 3-star is only a 70% success rate. And then to go to a 4-star is a 50% success rate. Then to go to a 5-star is a 20% success rate. And then to get to that last magical 6-star, which nobody seems to have. I only got my only one because I did that 1900 in Arena, right? Where you get a 6-star selector box, right? But it's a 10% success rate. So if you have three 5-stars, it's only a 10% chance. Now, the way to look at this, and we're going to talk about this, so to go from if you have 3 5-stars, you only have a 10% chance that it's successful in crunching into a 6-star. And in that 10% chance, you basically lose 3 5-stars. You're with me, right?
Yes.
And then, but the other 90% of the time, you basically just lose 2 5-stars and you're left with 1, right? Because it failed, right? It's garbage, right? So it's like 90% of the time you lose 2 5-stars. And then the one time that is successful, you lose 3 5-stars, meaning if you do this 10 times, and you actually get it to successfully craft, right? You basically have to go through a total of, on average, mathematically probable, you have to go through 21 5-stars to get a single 6-star. I mean, is that your experience? And no, I don't want to talk about odds manipulation because there's always that feeling, right, that they're manipulating the odds, and they probably are. And how do we know? There's just no way of knowing, right?
Yeah, it feels much worse than it did in the beginning of the game. Like I said, I got a lot of cores in the beginning, and now it feels like it's even worse. I have failed quite often, even on the lowest progression path. So when you were talking about crafting 2 and 3 stars and even 4s, it feels like I fail quite often, and it just, at the end of the day, it feels just like a currency dump. I'm just wasting resources.
Right. And I guess also the thing to mention is that the amount of gold and Convergium to make this system work gets crazy. And so I want to go over some some numbers, and I did some math, and these are some serious eyebrow numbers. My goodness, it's actually absolutely bonkers, actually. So being that it takes you basically lose 3 1-stars to build a 2-star. And to successfully make a 3-star, you actually have to start off with 11 1-stars. And I think everybody kind of knows this, right? You just it ramps up. And then to successfully make a 4-star, you need to start off with 55 1-stars. This sounds reasonable, right? I mean, this is kind of like you just go through them, you craft them up. Sometimes it fails, sometimes go up. But on average, this is where it gets really steep. Being that it takes 55 1-stars to make a single 4-star, you're going to have to dissolve and go through mathematically 11 4-stars because it's going to fail a lot, right? It's going to fail a lot half the time, it's going to fail a lot to make a 5-star, right? It just fail a bunch, and it's going to take 610 1-stars to make a single 5-star if you started from scratch. And then because it takes 21 5-stars to make a single 6-star, that means you had to start off with over 12,000 1-stars. It's crazy, right? And it's not an exponential curve. I mean, this is like a straight up curve. Like it's not like 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, which is in the gear system where, you know, it takes 36 1-star pieces in the gear system, make a 2-star, and then it goes to 210, 1,200, then it's 7,000. This is way steeper. It's like 311, 55, 610, 12,000, and then the gold is just bonkers, right? I mean, is this just meant to be a super late game, very long system to take to progress, or what's your take on it?
Yeah, it feels like after you've done it for a while that it is on purpose to deplete you of resources. We've touched on all the cores that you lose in the gold, but there's some rare convergium particles in there, like the crystallized. If on your path to said attempts, you're going to rip through tons of crystallized convergium. You're going to run through the stable convergium particles and hundreds of unstables. And those, after a while, for other things you want to use them on, like let's say crafting gear, which has an 100% success rate.
Correct.
You spend any amount of time on cores, you're going to deplete yourself the resources you need for gear.
Okay. Yeah. So where do people stop is the question. Because it seems to me that when you go through the story quest and like say you do your alts, you get a couple 5s at the end of them, right? And then it's like then you funnel all those 5s because you can share cores across your accounts, right? It seems like like 6s is just a dream, and if you're diligent, you'll get some 5s, but 4s is probably a good place to stop for a lot of people because you're chasing it forever at some point, it seems like.
If I remember correctly, you get an offer also, I think maybe when you acquire the Avenger rank in Dimension Duel, you do get an offer, I think, where you can get another one of those, if I remember correctly.
Like a 6 in it, but it's like an $89 offer or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's a very expensive offer as well. Yes.
Okay, so I mean, here's the thing though about cores, which I think everybody intuitively knows. I mean, it's a nice system because everything transfers from account to account. So it's like if you want to switch mains, you know, all of the 5-star, and if you ever get a 6-star, you get to keep them from account to account. So it's not like gear that's locked to a character, or even mega cards are partially locked to a character, right?
Yeah, you do get some cores at the end of the week for a payout. Remember which game mode that is.
The battle challenges. The battle challenges, you get a lot of cores in the tower mode. Basically, is a lot of cores.
So I typically finish top 5 in battle challenge, and I crunch all of those cores. It's literally a button press, and it's over. And I typically have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, I never get anything to show for it either. Yeah, I hit nothing. No, and so my suggestion on this is I think crunching cores is kind of a waste of time at some point. And the best way to get, let's say, 5-star cores is to play your alts and play your alts to max level 100, which is time consuming, right? But there's a lot of rewards at the end once you get to the very final quest, and you get some cores in there that you can move to your main account. And, otherwise, crafting 6-star cores and 5-star cores is a super, super, super long-term progression system that is going to be exhausting if you're just, hell-bent on getting 6-star cores. It's basically just not going to happen.
Yeah, you got to consider, too, your badges changing what those cores are that you may or may not need. I have a 6-star that's actually sitting in my bank. I don't even have it equipped.
Is it a yellow?
It's a yellow.
It's a yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow. Yeah, that's the problem with it too, is that yellows are garbage. So I've been crafting up my yellows. Like whenever I have yellows, I craft them up because I figure they're not, like, even if they disappear, it does not matter. Like that's what I've been crafting all of my yellows up because I just don't, and I don't, is that true on all characters, or is that, because we're both Iron Mans, or is that just an Iron Man thing?
I think it's true on all characters.
Yeah,
Another thing that you brought up too that I think is interesting is that you say that you use the yellows for fodder to craft with.
Yeah.
You actually don't have agency over what type of core that it's completely random. A lot of people have the misconception that if you were to put
it's completely random.
together,
No. Like
you would get
I actually think that crafting. I somehow ended up with 3 yellow 5s, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it because I don't care if I get I wanted a blue or a yellow. Like I wanted any color but yellow, and so I was basically. In my mind, I had a 10% chance of maybe getting a 6, which I did. I just wasn't counting on it. But I had a 3 out of 4 chance that I was going to get something other than a yellow. You know what I mean? And and there were certain stats that I'm particularly looking for. And to me, it was just to re-roll the core at this point. And I just am not planning on getting 6s at all. And the only 6 that I got was from the. When you in the duel, when you go past 1900, you actually get a selector box, and my God, don't pick yellow. Don't pick yellow. I mean, definitely, I picked red. You know, I mean, what other color is there to do, right? It's just like red. You know what I mean? Like red is what I wanted most, and I got what I wanted. But I'm just not planning on getting these things ever, and I think it's. I think, and a lot of people are giving up. Even at 4s, just because of the gold and the convergium costs. It's just that it's so scarce and so uphill. So I don't know. It is what it is, and it's just kind of a wonky system. I've actually seen this system a lot in a lot of the South Korean games. But it doesn't, like a lot of people, I don't know if maybe just people haven't experienced this type of system. In fact, I've experienced systems where it goes backwards. And sometimes you go down instead of just losing the crafting pieces. Isn't that even worse?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've
crazy.
even seen worse systems. All right, so the final takeaway is that getting 4s is great. 5s is even, it's realistic to get 4s, but 5s are kind of amazing. 6s, forget about it. I think most people just need to forget about 6s, right? It just don't even think about them because it's the stat boost is not worth the. I mean, it's crazy exponentially awful to go from 5s to 6s, and it's just not a good thing. Anything you want to say before you go? Tell them about your channel, Tony.
I make all kinds of stuff, from build videos to you name it, beginner tips and tricks, damage specs, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, and I stream on Twitch as well. So come hang out if you ever get a minute where you want to waste some time with me.
All right, leave your comments leave your ideas in the comment section about this system. It's pretty horrible. I just wanted people to not worry about getting 6s and just maybe be happy with the 4s and the 5s and let it go. You know what I mean? That's
something I gave up on.
That's the purpose of this video is just get your 4s, get your 5s, craft up your yellows because they're garbage anyways, and just let it go because it's a hard chase. It really is. All right, guys, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.
You were here to give me